Welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to show you some basic editing processes and techniques on Adobe Premiere Pro. Now this tutorial is to run alongside my coffee advert video, which is what we're hopefully going to replicate within this tutorial. So the first thing you obviously want to do is load up Premiere Pro, and this is the welcome screen. This is the welcome page. Obviously the next thing we want to do is start new project. And then in more recent iterations of Premiere Pro, you're given a lot of tutorial footage that you can play around with. We can ignore that for the time being and go here to the top. So project name, I'm just going to call this coffee ad. And importantly, we want to know where our project location is going to be based. I'm actually going to change this, and I'm going to choose location. And I'm going to select my desktop, and I've got an editing project already set up in there. Now it's important to keep all of your folders and assets in one place when editing in Adobe Premiere Pro, because if you move any of those assets, they will be unlinked and then will disappear from your video. So you need to maintain consistency in where you're locating everything throughout the entire edit. So now I've set that up, I can just click create. And that will take us to this typical workspace. So as you can see, the project is called Coffee Ad. Here we have our view window, and then we have our canvas, and this is where our timeline will be, and this is where our project window is. So this is where all of our assets will be stored and where we can access effects and things like that. This is where we will watch our original source clips, and then we can edit them here, and then this canvas screen and our timeline are inherently connected. So this is where we can see the video, the film being made, constructed, and this is the timeline as it appears. The first thing we now want to do is make our sequence. So if you click here, new sequence, and then in our sequence presets, we want to select HDV, which is high definition video, and let's go for 1080p 25 frames per second. 25 frames per second is atypical for UK broadcast. So if we select that and then click OK, now a sequence has been created, and this is our timeline. Next thing I'm now going to do is import my footage and my assets. So I can go here, I can click File and Import, but the shortcut is Command and I. I'm now going to go into my editing assets folder, and I'm going to select all of these assets. There's a combination of videos in here and audio clips. Now, if I want to be super organized, I could then arrange these into their own folders, which in editing we call them bins. So I could use a bin for audio, and then in my audio bin I can move my audio files, and then I could do the same for videos. Now this is just a way of maintaining organization in your project, but I'm not going to dictate to you that you should do it this way. You find your own way of doing these things. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to bring my footage together and construct my advert. So let's find our first clip. So the first clip I want to use, and used in the original video that I've presented on YouTube, is this video here. Now I just want to use a couple of seconds of this to show the coffee beans going into the grinder. So if I scrub across this here, this is the full clip. It is a 38-second clip. So this is hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. Okay, so if I'm just going to go for here, what I want to do is I want to select an in point. So this is where I want my video to start when I edit it. So I select I for that, and then where I want it to end. I then need an out point, which is O. And then that shows that this is the area of video that I have selected that I want to use from the source clip into my video. So now all I need to do is actually just click and hold and then drag it down here into my timeline. Now I knew this was going to happen, and I'm glad it happened because I wanted to explain what this means. So this says there is a clip mismatch warning. So this clip does not match the sequence. The settings, change sequence to match the clip settings. So the reason for this is my sequence is set at 1080p. This video clip is 2160p. I'm going to keep my existing settings. And now we will notice that this is actually zoomed in somewhat. So if you imagine that the 1080p canvas is this big, a 2160 is this big. So what this has basically done is it tried to fit in this video into that canvas. So now I need to just, if I select on my sequence timeline and click the plus button, I will zoom in. I can right click here, select my video clip, right click and scroll down to an option where I can select scale to frame size. That will make it fit now. The reason that's happened is some of the video clips that I've sourced are 2160p, some of them are 1080p. So I want to maintain a 1080p resolution. There's no need for it to be any bigger than that. And if I had made it a 2160p resolution video, then some of my video clips wouldn't fit and they would be too small for the screen. I would have to scale them up. You're better off scaling down than you are up, because if you scale an image up, you're going to see more of the pixelation and you won't get the full quality of the video. So that's my first clip. Now I just need to start this construction. I need to start making the video clips and selecting them in order. So next one I want to use is this close-up here. I like the fact that it is a bit of a focus pull. So we go from nice crisp in focus beans here to out of focus there. So then we just click and drag that in again. Again, I need to right click this one and scale to frame size. So that's our first two clips. We can select here, press the space bar, and then we'll play through so far what we've got. Okay, little shortcut to get to the end of your timeline or the beginning if you want to, is if you click home on your keyboard, that will always take you to the start. If you click end on your keyboard, that will take you to the end. If you click down on your keyboard, it will take you to your nearest cut, and up will take you back to your nearest cut. So there's some little shortcuts that help you work through your timeline there. So as we do this, we are just going to cutting our clips together, selecting them, and putting those in some kind of generic order. Now notice here that as I've done this, it's purple and not blue. There are not two bars here. So this is your video track and this is your audio track. None of these video clips actually have any audio on them. However, the person who created these ones exported it with an audio track. Although there's no sound, there is still an audio track there. It's fine. So again, I'm going to scale this to size. But now we can see that when I've scaled it to size, because it's not the same resolution where you've got these little letterboxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click this clip. I'm going to go over to my source window and I'm going to click Effect Controls. This will edit the full source clip. So if I open this motion window and I've got a scale window, I'm just going to move that up ever so slightly to 108, and then I'm happy with that. What I've got though is a really long-winded shot now. So I want to, in this sequence, in this sequence, should I say, in this clip, I want to basically make a few jump cuts just to speed up that whole process. To do that, I'm going to use the cutting tool, which is a little razor tool here. And your shortcut is C, so you click on that. And what this does is it means you can cut your clips manually on the timeline, and it will separate a clip into miniature clips. So I'm going to cut it there, and I'm going to cut it there. I'm going to select V, which gets me back to my selection tool, and I can select the videos I no longer want, which are these two. I'm now going to just move these across. And notice when I move them across, they snap into place, and that's because we've got a snap tool setting, which is here. Looks like a magnet. So now I've used that really long-winded clip and I've edited that together. Now the next thing I'm going to use is a close-up of some beans. Now, because I'm going to use two clips. That's a black cup. This is white cup. I kind of don't want to draw too much attention on these white cups here. More focus is on the espresso being poured. So I'm going to click in point here, out point, drag, drop. Again, I'm happy though that this doesn't need scaling. I am going to go to my double click, go to effect controls again, and I'm going to scale it down ever so slightly. And then I'm also going to position it and I'm going to move it down by dragging here. The emphasis is actually on the coffee, not the cups for this shot. And now I'm going to get my coffee being poured. This one has got sound. I don't need the sound, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use and because I don't want the sound, rather than dragging it from the middle, I'm just going to drag it here from the video clip, and that drags video only. Set to frame size, I need to go back onto effects controls. Scale needs to be changed ever so slightly to make it fit. So that's 54. I need to remember that because I'm going to use the clip again in a mo. I'm going to use my shot of a barista, making it look like he's the person actually making this. In, out, drag, drop. And I'm going to go back to my coffee shop again. In, out, drag just the video again and drop. Now remember the effect control was 54, so I can just copy that, double click here, effect control. Now I think I want obviously a shot of some people sat enjoying their coffees, to emphasize the kind of enjoyment that people get whilst drinking in this coffee shop. So in, out, I'm going to use this as my end shot as well. So actually I can use more of that, as much of that as I can, that's all of the clips. I've dragged it out from back. By the way, if you ever make a mistake, click Command and Z like most Adobe products. Command and Z goes back a step. If I want to use more of the original source clip, I can move my out point by clicking on the end, this little red line arrow comes in and drag. That's as far as that's to the end of the clip. So that's that. I'm happy with the way things are looking at the moment. What I would like to do is add a nice little cross-dissolve transition here between these two clips, so it transitions from the coffee to people enjoying them. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go here to my project window, click on effects, and if I just type in crossfade, so then I literally grab this and drag it in between my two clips there, like so. And if I watch this in real time, it's very quick. I think I want to make this last a little bit longer, so I think that's too long now. Okay, so I'm happy with that cross dissolve. Overall, the video is more or less constructed now. In the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to add your assets, such as the coffee shop's logo, include titles, add audio elements such as a music and a voiceover. I'm also going to show you how to use keyframes in regards to the timing of making a clip blurred, or in regards to the timing of audio dips or indeed fades in and out. So I'm going to show you that in the next tutorial. So hopefully so far you've managed to construct your video to an extent. We're going to do the more slightly advanced things in the next video. Hopefully you'll join me on that one. Well, thanks for watching.